Hi, I hope you're having a great day. Well, today I want to talk about children, I want to talk about their health, and I want to talk about the focus on prevention when it comes to the amount of disease that we have happening in the world today. There are just too many people out there living with fear because when we look around, we see our parents suffering, we see the elderly suffering, we see young people suffering, we see juveniles, and we see like teenagers and young babies suffering as well from disease. So it makes us think what's going on. Most of us are living in fear, most of us are chasing food plans and exercise plans and superfoods to try and make our lives healthier and try to prevent disease. Well, you see, the focus has to shift from disease management to disease resolution. Yes, we need disease management for people who are already sick or people who may get sick. But what about disease resolution and what about prevention? There is so much of power in that word prevention because what it takes to prevent disease in most cases, disease can be prevented. There are very, very, very few cases and unlucky cases where people get struck down by diseases that cannot be explained at all. But for everything else, when we look at the kind of lifestyles we have today and we connect that with the number of lifestyle disorders that we have and lifestyle illnesses that we have, the one thing that we need to learn from that is if poor lifestyle has caused a lifestyle disease, be it cancer, be it diabetes, be it cardiovascular, be it kidney failure, whatever it is, that very same lifestyle, if changed, could be the drug that heals you, or it could be the drug that prevents you from falling sick in the first place. Now today we're a lucky generation because we have access to so much of information and so much of knowledge that our parents and our parents' parents didn't have. Well, too much of anything is also a bad thing. We also have a lot of information, but information and knowledge is useless if it is not organized and used the right way. So although we have a lot of information today, we also have more confusion and more fear and more insecurity. So now we need to look at our children. We need to look at the younger generation and see how we can create awareness and education in them so that they can grow up making the right decisions when it comes to health. Now, no kid is going to get it right at start. There's no kid that's going to get it completely right. There's no teenager who's going to get it completely right. Everyone will experiment with different ways. They'll go through their own phases. They'll go through their own behavioral changes as they grow up. But what stays in your subconscious is what basically forms the rest of your life. I want to talk about children today and this very, very important age of between the age of 2 and 7. Dr. Bruce Lipton, who is a specialist when it comes to biology and a hardcore allopathic doctor, I get my wisdom from him when it comes to understanding the subconscious mind and the conscious mind. And over again, he has stressed in all of his classes about the importance of understanding the age of 2 to 7 of any child. That is the hypnotic age of the child. Now, when we say it's the hypnotic stage of the child, that means whatever your child sees, hears, and learns starts forming their subconscious mind. You see, right now as adults, our subconscious mind is already formed. We work on a ratio of 95% and 5%. 95% of our life, of everything, is controlled by our subconscious mind, and our 5% is controlled by our conscious mind. Now that's a huge number. Of 95% of your subconscious mind is formed while you are young, while you are in this age of 2 to 7 or maybe even 2 to 8, for some people 2 to 9. So what we put into the minds, into the subconscious of our children is so important between this age. Instead of worrying about what we do later, we should empower them right now with the right values, the right skills, and the right amount of awareness and knowledge, because what goes into their mind right now will form their subconscious. Let me give you an example for everyone out there who drives. You know, we drive, we learn to drive, and later it becomes a habit, and our subconscious drives the car. 95% of our subconscious mind drives the car, and 5% of our conscious mind keeps us on the road and prevents accidents. You notice this. If you remember the drive that you had to work today, do you remember any part of the drive? You probably remember 1 or 2 parts when you stopped at a signal or someone, cut across you, a little bit of it, because you were driving that car with your subconscious mind. The same thing with a cycle. We cycle once we learn with our subconscious mind. We're not using our conscious mind once we learn how to cycle. The same thing with brushing our teeth in the morning, because it's put into our minds from a young age to get up and brush our teeth. It's in our subconscious mind. We will automatically wake up and we will automatically go to brush our teeth. Controlled by our subconscious mind, 95% of our conscious mind is involved in that activity. And most of us, you, me, and everyone out there right now, our lives, our decisions, our emotions, everything is controlled by what we have learned over the years from the time we were 2 years old. From the time everything that went into us formed our subconscious mind, and then we built layer after layer after layer after layer, which is why today, if we had a bad childhood or we're trying to unlearn something which was not too good what we learned when we were small, why do we find it difficult as an adult? We find it difficult because we have to break down one layer at a time until we get down to that one root cause, and then we got to go on practicing and practicing and practicing to build that new habit. It's called repetition. That's why when you're trying to learn a new habit or inculcate a new habit, you keep doing it over and over and over and over again until your subconscious mind takes over that activity completely and runs it for you without your conscious mind even being involved. Maybe just 5% of your conscious mind. So that's what we need to understand. Like, why do we send our children to school at a particular age? Because teachers understand this and schools know this, that at a particular age, the brain of a child is like a sponge. And what you put into their mind at that time becomes their subconscious. They learn, it stays in them. Like most of us know our multiplication tables, our 2 times tables, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's ingrained in us. Someone could wake us up in the middle of the night and say 2 times 5 is what, and we know it's 10. That's our subconscious mind and not even our conscious mind working. So what you teach your children between 2 and 7, what you teach them, what they see you doing, what they hear you speak, is forming their subconscious right now. So we're either putting the right stuff into their minds or we're putting the wrong stuff in their minds, which is why it is so important, the age-old wisdom of not allowing children to watch certain TV programs, not be exposed to certain things at that age. It's only because if their mind gets filled with that, if they see something which is dramatic, something which is angry, something which is violent, their subconscious mind, it's going into their mind and it's forming their behavior over the years. So sometimes, in this whole new world of freedom and everything's cool and stuff like that, we need to understand that we have more problems today. It's not like it's any better. And then we go back and we look at our parents and we call them, oh, you're living in the old ages and your stuff is all old. There's so much of wisdom in how they managed our lives between the age groups of 2 and 7, how much they exposed us to external environments, and how they kept us protected for those initial years of our life. Because you may think you're giving your child all the freedom in the world. They don't know that. You think it's cool to give them all of that freedom and you think they're going to develop and all of that stuff. But you have no control of what they're absorbing in their subconscious mind and in their conscious mind. So technically, what could you teach them in this age of 2 to 7? If we teach them things out of fear, for example, I know so many parents who tell their young children that if you eat too much of sugar, you will get cancer. Now that's a really, really bad thing to say because number one, sugar doesn't cause cancer. Yeah, sugar is bad for cancer. But imagine that goes into your subconscious mind of your child, and as they grow up, even if they eat a little bit of sugar, and which they will always do it with fear and with guilt. So if you tell them, hey, if you eat, you'll become fat and you'll have diabetes. Or if you eat and see grandma died of a heart attack because she ate chocolates all through the day. This is wrong information to put in their heads because they'll grow up with that fear in their subconscious, and that will dictate their behavior and their emotions. So we need to invest time in understanding how you can put the right thing in the right way in their minds. So yes, you can caution them about sugar. You can tell them that sugar is fine in the right quantities, but today we have too much of sugar, and too much of anything is a bad thing. So you should eat it, but if you eat too much, the body can get sick. So that's why we need to take that extra time to choose the words that we use with our children when we're even teaching them. The easiest thing to do is to teach our children with fear and authority. If you do this, this is going to happen. If you don't do this, this is going to happen. If you fail your grade, you're never going to make it big in life and you'll be the last in your class. And all the negativity that we put into our children's mind, the negativity that's gone into our minds from the faults of maybe our parents. And that dictates our human adult behavior today. There are so many people who behave out of low self-esteem, low confidence, and all of these are behaviors that are grown through our subconscious mind while we were small. So for example, if we were always told that we're stupid and we'll never be successful in life, that's exactly how you're going to grow up thinking that way. Even though you may be intelligent, you may have all the abilities in the world to be extremely successful. It's because your subconscious controls 95% of you and your conscious mind is only 5%. So what rules? Your subconscious mind. So you have to understand very clearly that there are many, many things that you can choose to put into your mind, the minds of your children between 2 and 7. So for example, if you ask your child right now to get up and clear his room. They won't do it immediately. They'll take time. Number one, they don't know now. Number two, it's not important for them, but you keep telling them, it becomes a habit and they keep doing it. It's not like they're resisting you and then we use authority and we use our own fears to control the behavior of a child. But when you guide them and you explain to them the right way of how it is, it registers in their subconscious mind. So now you choose what you need to teach your child in that age of 2 to 7. If you want to teach them that life is bad and life is difficult and life is dangerous, they are going to grow up paranoid about life no matter what happens. They're always going to grow up trying to overprotect themselves, scared, very, very low on self-confidence and all of those things. You have to show them the good and bad of everything. So if you try to make food bad in their minds right now, like most adults have a poor relationship with food, and that's because of what we've learned over the years. Don't teach your children to hate food. Don't teach your children foods that are bad. Teach them foods that are great and foods that are not so good. Teach them the values. If you want your children to have values when they're teenagers and when they're adults, between the age of 2 and 7 is the time that you start teaching them those values. Anything that you want to teach them is best absorbed and registered in their subconscious mind between 2 and 7. You want to teach them about the importance of family, the importance of love, the importance of care, the importance of relationship, the importance of respect, manners. When you teach your children please and thank you at a young age, it becomes part of their lives. They'll say it throughout their life. But if you teach them much, much later in life, most of them will never remember, and it becomes a task to remember how to have decent manners in society. So you have to sit down and choose what you want to put in their mind. Now, one excellent way that medical science is now proving as a way to teach your children is through storytelling. And we all know as kids, we all enjoyed stories. We enjoyed when we were read a storybook or our parents told us stories. And if you're a parent, you'll understand that your children enjoy stories as well. If you're teaching them something about food or about health or about relationships, do it through a story. Make up that story, buy a ready-made storybook, because children relate to fantasy and stories together. The message gets into their subconscious mind better through a story, rather than me telling them, hey, fruits are good for your health. If I can build it in through a story, it's going to register in your child's mind. Now, it doesn't mean that your child is going to eat the way that you want them to eat, but believe me, it will be registered in their subconscious at some time. When it comes to their health, we grow up teaching our children that, when you're sick, I'll take you to the doctor. When you're sick, I'll give you a tablet. When you're sick, let's go to the hospital. Okay, you may have to do all of that, but you're not giving them the message that your body can heal you. The message that you need to put into your child's mind right now between 2 and 7 is, your body can heal you. Your body has the capability of healing you. And yes, you need a doctor if you need to. You need a tablet if you need to. You need a hospital if you need to. But they should always know that their body has the ability to heal them. Because when they believe that from a young age, they will grow up as adults knowing that, hey, I can see a doctor, I can see a counselor, I can take a medicine, but I know that the ultimate healing power is my own body. And when we grow up with that thought, we grow up with less fear, and then we grow up with that respect and value for our body. Because if we all know right now that it is truly our body that heals us, believe me, we have a mindset change and we start investing in this intelligent body that has the ability to heal us. So what you put in their mind is extremely important. Teach them food, teach them about activity and movement, teach them about sleep, teach them about being happy, teach them about being okay, being sad, everything they see. So if they see you're constantly conscious about your weight and you're moving from one diet to another, and that everything about your health and you revolves around good looks, that's exactly how they're going to grow up, thinking that to be accepted in society or accepted as an adult, I need to look a particular way. I need to be thin. I need to have a six-pack. I need to have fantastic dresses and makeup on my face and fancy things all the way, because that's what they see. That's what gets into their subconscious mind, because that is the image that we are putting forth to them. So we need to understand, yes, we want our freedom as adults and we want to be who we want to be. But if you have a child, we also have that responsibility to understand that between this age, we have to be responsible. We have to be a role model to them. We need to set the right examples, lead by examples, and put the right stuff into their heads and subconscious. I want to end this video by also telling you, if we put fear in their mind, that's exactly what's going to happen. I have 2 autistic children right now, and they're both located in the US. And For the longest time, the children are of an age where they can understand, but they believe that they are different. They believe that they are sick, and they believe that they will always be treated differently. So what I got the moms of both these children to do is, while they're sleeping, to constantly whisper in their ears. Constantly whisper in their ears that they are healing, they are healed, they are normal children, they are respected, they are loved, they are accepted, and they keep on doing these things. And the feedback of these two moms over the last 6 months has been phenomenal, nothing but magical, based on the simple science that she's putting affirmations and programming the subconscious mind while the children are sleeping, which is also a very, very good time to program the subconscious mind. And they have reported a complete change in the behavior of their children, in their confidence level. So yes, there is medicine that we should take if we have to. There are doctors, nutritionists, there's everything. But there is so much more beyond that. There's something as simple as the subconscious mind. And if every one of us today wake up and believe that we have a subconscious mind and a belief system and a mindset that has been programmed by over the years, and now we want to change that programming, we can do it by constant practice, constant repetition, constant doing. Like most people, like I said, we all have information. Everyone knows what they should do to lose weight. Everyone knows what they should do to prevent illness. Everyone knows that they should work out every day, but yet people lack motivation. Why? Because it's not in our subconscious mind. But if I start intermittent fasting for 7 days in a row, okay, I'm comfortable with it, it's registered in my subconscious mind. On the 8th day, it's going to become part of my life. If I put on my shoes and go to the gym every single day, even if I don't feel like going, okay, I start programming my subconscious mind through repetition. If I practice just saying good things all the time instead of saying bad things and finding fault with people and constantly criticizing, this takes practice. You can change from the negative to positive through constant repetition and practice. That's how we reprogram the subconscious mind. The beauty is, with a child, their subconscious mind is open right now. It's like a sponge. Ours is all closed up, which is why we need to work so hard at changing a belief system, changing a mindset, changing an emotion and a behavior. But your child right now, between 2 and 7, it's like a sponge. And that's why you should take advantage of this age right now to put what you want them to be and what you want them to know and learn into their subconscious mind right now. Have a great day, everyone. Until next time, eat smart, move more, sleep right, and